It's time for the Lowell Green Show, originating live on BlastTheRadio.com. Ask your smart speaker to play Blast the Radio. Live video available on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Email Lowell at BlastTheRadio.com. The number to call or text is 613-413-2217. And now, telling it like it is, here's Lowell Green.
Now, I need a little bit of help this morning, okay? Because sometimes I have difficulty understanding things. I don't know if it's a product of age or just my nature. Maybe that's just the way God made me or the genes fashioned me. I don't know, but I don't understand this. Like, is there anybody out there can explain to me why some of my tax dollars, yeah, I still pay tax, property tax, I still pay tax through the nose. Why some of my tax money is going to a Porsche dealership in Vanier. What the hell is that? I all of my life, and I had some success. I could never even afford a Porsche. Now some of my tax dollars is going to support a very successful Porsche dealer? Give me a freaking break. For that matter, why is any of my tax money, if you don't care about me, which I'm sure is true, you care about yourself. So why is any of your tax money going to a car dealership of any kind anywhere, let alone a Porsche dealership? Why are they taking some of our tax dollars, yours and mine, and giving it almost $3 million to a very successful Porsche dealer? Does any of this make any sense to you? What the hell is going on? Look, we don't have enough money, apparently, to patch the potholes, some of the worst in the world. We don't have enough money to resurface the roads. We don't have enough money to build a rehab center for drug addicts. I've been trying to get something going for years on that. We don't have enough money to properly pay long-term care workers. But we've got almost $3 million for a very successful, obviously very profitable car dealer. What? I know I've said this before, but I got to ask it again. What the hell is going on? Let me tell you, over the years, I've been involved in a good many businesses. Most successful, some not. And in all of that time, over 60 years, never once was I able to get a single freaking cent from any level of government. I couldn't get anything from even, I'm talking about tax breaks of any kind, from the civic government, from regional government, provincial government, federal government. Never able to get a single cent, nor should I. I was a private business. You taxpayers shouldn't be subsidizing private business, sorry. But somehow or other, I managed to get some pretty successful businesses going without a single cent. And not only that, I remember very distinctly the battle that we had to try and get just a small tax break from either the federal government or the City of Canada government for the Ottawa Senators. Any of you people remember the battles we had there?
Oh. Like it was yesterday.
Unbelievable.
It was insane.
The NDP government, that was our good old friend Bob Ray, Buffalo Bob, not only refused to give a single cent of tax. The senators never asked for money. They said, give us a bit of a tax break because you're forcing us to pay for the overpass. You're forcing us to pay for the roads going in, which many other businesses, by the way, and homeowners are now using. The senators had to pay for all of that.
They sure did.
Not a single cent of tax break. I remember going to a meeting at Canada. That's when Canada had its own council. Meeting of Canada Town Council. They were trying to get, the senator owners were trying to get a little bit of a tax break from the City of Canada. No way. And I mean, it was, if they didn't get a tax break, then we would never have had the senator. Okay, that would have been the end of the senators. And it was only by the perseverance of one one Canada single city council member, I forget his name now, God bless him, that they finally got some sort of concession. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the senators with all of the billions of dollars over the years that they've poured in here. So that's how desperate many other businesses have tried to get a little bit of tax break. And you talk about tax breaks. Ask some of the store owners up and down Elgin Street what kind of a tax break they got from the city when the Elgin Street was shut down for 407,000 years for construction. Any tax break? Not that I'm aware of. So why suddenly now a Porsche dealership or any car dealership is getting almost $3 million of your money? It seems to me that maybe our priorities in this city are just a little tad askew. Maybe instead of $3 million to a Porsche dealer, maybe we should put $3 million into long-term care. Maybe we could give our senior citizens 2 baths a week rather than 1. Maybe we could give them 2 diaper changes a day rather than just 1. Oh, no. Better to give $3 million to a Porsche. It's unbelievable. I don't know. The only person I can see who supports this is Kelly Egan, which surprises the hell out of me. He writes a rather long editorial or comment in the Post today, the Post Media. He supports this. He's got to be the only one. But maybe there's somebody else out there can explain to me why some of our tax dollars should go to a Porsche dealership. I would sure love, John, go through how people get in touch with us again here.
Yeah, absolutely. 613-413-2217 is the number. You can even call it from your Porsche. Again, 613-413-2217. Please don't text and drive, but you can text that number as well. You can find Lowell on Facebook. We're on Twitch. You know what? It's easier just to go to blasttheradio.com/Lowell Green. I agree with you, by the way. I was surprised to read Kelly Egan's take on that. And I guess if I'm reading it correctly, Lowell, and I stand to be corrected, it's a $2.9 million tax incentive to help beautify Vanier, because we want to encourage businesses to build in Vanier. And this man, according to Kelly Egan, could have taken his business and put it on one of his properties on Hunt Club. Well, okay, so why don't we let him and then charge him the full tax fare for it? I don't understand.
I mean, I use the example of the businesses up and down Elgin Street. Look, and Elgin, how about Sussex? Or I'm sorry,
Rideau Street.
And Sussex, but Rideau Street. How many years? Like it seemed to me about 427,000 years. Rideau Street's been ripped up one way or the other.
Well, you and I were there when that was happening, and the hell that those businesses went through. Well, we saw it every day.
I don't know. I don't know. It beats the bejabbers out of me. But as I say, maybe somebody smarter out there, which includes apparently most Facebook posters.
Well, they all have degrees from Google University, Lowell.
Maybe you can explain this to me, because I'm having some trouble here, folks. Now, on a different issue. Surprise, surprise. I see where the polls indicate that Doug Ford is losing a lot of public support. Now, this doesn't come as a great surprise to me. In fact, it's the same with all premiers right across the province, with the possible exception of the guy in Quebec. Don't ask me why, okay? Don't ask me why the guy in Quebec, who had a curfew imposed, why he still stays very popular. Maybe people in Quebec are just a little bit smarter than they are in Ontario. I don't know. I don't think that, but I'm just wondering. But, I mean, let's face it. I mean, Doug Ford's the guy who almost on a daily basis has got to stand there and deliver the bad news. This is shut down, this lockdown. We got to go back into this wave 3, wave 4, wave 420,000. So, I mean, it's Doug Ford that's got to do the news. Sorry, we don't have the vaccines. Meantime, the guy who's responsible for most of the bad news, that would be Justin Trudeau, who fiddled and farted around with the Chinese until there are almost no vaccines left. He just gets to come out every day out of his little hidey hole cottage and smile and talk about millions of vaccines, most of which never arrive. So it doesn't surprise me. The question here, of course, is, okay, you're mad at Doug Ford. I understand. You don't like golf courses being shut down. Neither do I. But he's the guy that's got to give you the bad news. Okay, this is what the health authorities say has got to happen. And apparently it's working. The the bad numbers are coming down, right? Maybe there's other way. I don't, but he's the guy with the bad news, so I understand that. But here's the question: who else are you going to vote for? I mean, the Liberal Party wanted far more extensive lockdowns, lasting a lot longer. Would you vote for them? They wanted a lot more lockdowns. The NDP, well, they never wanted us to open up. NDP doesn't like business at all. So they would be quite happy to shut the whole damn province down. You know why? Then we wouldn't be able to burn fossil fuels. So who are you going to vote for? The phone booth party, the Liberal Party, who wanted even more lockdowns, or the NDP, who never wanted us to open up? So it's just an interesting question. You may have some thoughts on that. Politics is beautiful, isn't it? Really, it is. Poor old Ford. He's made some mistakes. Who the hell hasn't? But, I mean, he's the guy, as I say. He's got to, on a daily basis, give us the bad news. Apparently, there's some good news coming. It would appear to me that we're going to get a few things opened up. By the way, just as a slight aside here, we keep talking about, and every day I say the same thing. We keep hearing from Justin Trudeau about the great flood, the big rollout of vaccines, et cetera, et cetera. And there's now a story floating around that somehow or other we are vaccinating more people than the United States. It's an outrageous lie. Let me just give you some accurate figures. This is from Health Canada itself. Okay. In 5 months' time, Canada has vaccinated 19 million, 19.9 million. Now, let me just point something out. That sounds like a lot, but you know what we're forgetting? In order for, let's say that we have to vaccinate 30 million people twice, we need 60 million doses, don't we? So far, we have delivered less than 20 million. In 5 months, we have delivered less than 20 million doses, first and second shots combined. The United States, by the way, at the same time, I got a figure here. So far, the United States has delivered 275.54 million doses. And somehow or other, Trudeau is trying to claim we're doing as well as the United States. See, you see the big excitement, John, in New York City? And you must remember, not that long ago, New York City was the epicenter of the pandemic in the United States. It was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Absolutely.
The hospitals were jammed. Morgues were jammed. They were having to bury people sort of in mass graves, that kind. It was unbelievable. Well, yesterday, New York declared itself wide open. Anybody who's got 2 vaccinations, and that's about 70% of the population of the city, inside restaurants, outside open to everybody, no mask, et cetera, et cetera. Great excitement in New York. In Times Square, there was a big feature shot yesterday in Times Square. Everybody all excited. New York is wide open, as is much of the United States, because they got vaccines early and often. Now, I've got to tell you something. I'm getting some calls from people who say, Lowell, you seem to be the only guy who can bring us up to date on what's happening with Line 5. Well, let me just bring you up to date. You will be pleased to know that yesterday I called, once again, about every week I call Governor Whitmer's office in Michigan, because I want to know what's the latest here. Any news? Are you still trying to get the Line 5 shut down, et cetera, et cetera? Most of the time when I phone, I get through to a woman. I think she is a private secretary to the governor. I'm not sure, but she's obviously chief of staff or whatever. It's the same woman most times. Yesterday when I phoned, she said, oh, it's the podcaster from Canada, the Canadian podcaster.
That's cute. Come on. Aw. Let's get her a T-shirt.
Because every time I call, I tell her that I'm doing a podcast. She didn't really understand, online broadcasting, but she understood podcasts. So
well, you're actually doing both, Lowell. You're doing a broadcast, which you're doing right now live, and we record it, and that is the podcast. So you're kind of doing both.
So anyway, I asked, I said, is there any news? She said, well, The only thing I can tell you is that there are some negotiations. She said, I'm not sure who exactly is involved. She said the governor is very adamant. She wants to shut that line down. She is very upset it's not shut down. And as you know, she has a good deal of support in this state. But she said a judge, and I'm unclear which judge she's talking about. A judge says, quote, that Line 5 will remain open for the time being. What does that mean? Well, it means for the time being. How long is the time being? I don't know. I don't know if anybody does. There are some negotiations going on, not sure exactly who's involved, but as long as these negotiations are still ongoing, for the time being, Line 5 will remain open. We are still, I've pointed this out many times, we are still at tremendous risk here because we're being held hostage by the United States. The United States delivers most of the oil to eastern Canada. Quebec and the Atlantic provinces, they supply most of the oil there because we can't get our own oil to it. And we're leaving up to the United States, whether Ontario gets supplied from the United States. Beautiful. John, have we got any comments? Anybody trying to explain to me why we should give $3 million to a Porsche dealership?
There's a lot of head scratching going on. You want to work on a sponsor first and then go to the comments? Or
all right, sponsor first.
Sure.
Yesterday, I joked around a little bit. Most people can take a joke. I joked around a little bit about Shields and the fact that they have this lovely little butcher shop. And I've got several people have responded and said, Lowell, you're absolutely right. It's a great butcher shop. They buy only local beef, pork, and poultry, et cetera, et cetera. They make their own sausage there. And by the way, I had some of their sausage. It's excellent. Hot Italian is just super. You like hot stuff, eh, John?
No, but no. You know I have a hard time with hot stuff, but you love it. I don't know how you do it, man. I don't know.
But so I just wanted to point out that yes, they have this lovely little butcher shop. It's been there for a long, long time. I'm not sure. I should find out. I'm not sure if it's been there since 1947. But certainly Shields has been there in Pakenham since 1947. But the main thing, excuse me, main thing about Shields, of course, is the fact that this is a wonderful appliance dealership. They have a huge warehouse there. All of the name brands, almost 99% sure exactly what you would want. Major appliance, small appliance, they will have it in stock, which means there's no delay. And right now, a big sale underway. Have a check out their website. You'll see you can save up to $600. Shields, SCHEELS.ca. Yes, John, back to you.
All right, the number here, 613-413-2217. You can also text us. I will pass the texts on to Lowell. I will read your messages. If I see them on Facebook as well, I will give you a like and acknowledge. Here we go, regarding the Porsche dealership. Oh, hell, Lowell. The city can't even cut the bloody grass. That's Ann. Ian says, well, it's not exactly big news. We haven't been able to find out why any of our tax dollars are spent the way they are. Peter says someone has a buddy on city council there. How much taxes they're increased by? Chris suggests that hookers need something to lean on. Thank you. Debbie says my
Wait a minute, hold on.
Okay.
What? Someone explain that. Yeah, hookers are leaning on Porsche cars. Is that what they're saying?
Well, apparently there are hookers in Vanier. This is news to me. I've never heard that rumor before, but apparently hookers will need something to lean on. Something to lean on that won't drive away when cops pass. Okay, Chris from Kinburn. Now we have clarity. Thank you, sir.
I gotcha.
Okay, my bad, Lowell. I missed that. Debbie says my blood boils hearing this. And okay, on to other things. Ian says Quebec isn't bright when it comes to voting. In case you hadn't noticed, and I live here. And says NDP don't like anything but vote for everything. Glenn says, holy moly, no NDP government in Ontario. Do you not remember the last time the NDP were in power? We did address that a little while ago, Glenn. We've got a text here from what appears to be a Calgary area code, Lowell. Hey, guys, why would Trudeau agree to Quebec and let them change the Constitution Act? He's only increasing separation from Western Canada. You need to have a program on Jay Hill and the Maverick Party. Folks in the East do not understand how serious the West is about separation. Just like Line 5, the East don't know about it till 2 days before shutdown. Folks, get a grip and get rid of that idiot in Ottawa. We cannot have another 4 years with this idiot.
What idiot is he talking about?
I don't know.
Just joking.
I don't know.
I I have a more personal problem here, and I hate to raise, excuse me, hate to raise personal problems, but Debbie and I have been in this house, beautiful house. I love this place, out in the wilds. We got wild turkeys. We got bear in the backyard. We got deer. We got raccoons, squirrels of every kind, every description, every color, lots of birds. But after 25 years, house needs some painting. Now, I have been trying all day. In fact, I tried 2 or 3 days ago to find someone that does exterior house painting. Apparently, this is a no-no. Nobody apparently wants to paint the outside of my house. Now, I'm 84 years old. I am not going to get on a big ladder and go up and paint my own house. So how in the hell do I get my house painted? Like, is nobody hungry out there anymore? Nobody wants to work anymore? I mean, very clearly, if you're going to have your outside of your house painted, you're going to have to pay a good dollar for it. Holy smokes. I don't know. I can't believe it. I had a guy come here from a well-known local painting company, looked at it. He didn't tell me that they weren't going to do it, but just never got back to me, so I assumed. Then I phoned 2 or 3 other, oh, no, we don't do exterior. I tried to get through, there's student painting or something. I tried to get through to them. It's an 800 number. God knows where they are, probably off in, I don't know, Dubai or something. And I couldn't get anybody to answer the phone. It's quite astonishing. I just thought I would pass that on, John. Have you ever had to have any exterior painting done of your house or anything?
I desperately need the exterior of my house painted too, and went through much the same thing a couple of years ago, chasing after student painters. All these people, they put signs all over the bloody, Hunt Club Road and stuff for hire, for hire. You call them, okay, we'll come by. You never hear from them. It's frustrating. Do we have to offer them tax incentives like Porsche dealers get?
Whatever happened to the good old days when, if you needed your lawn cut, the neighbor kids were always by with a push mower. Can I cut your lawn, sir?
I made a fortune doing that.
I know.
I put myself through college doing that.
I tried. We've been trying to get someone to come and do a little bit of yard work. Forget it. Nobody's hungry anymore.
I know.
Including, by the way, the kids. I don't know whether the parents are giving them, big allowances or whatever the hell it is. But you know what? One of the things that does concern me, one of the things that concerns me a little bit is, in the years to come, who is going to do some of these jobs? I mean, houses need to be painted. Lawns need to be tended. Ditches need to be shoveled out. Who is going to do that work in years to come? Because increasingly, young people just are not interested. And I think it's a serious problem. One of the things I'm really pleased to see, and you got to give Doug Ford some credit for this, and that is that there seems to be more emphasis being placed on trade schools these days. I think for the longest time, we told our young people, you got to have a university degree or, you won't be able to do anything. Well, it turns out that a lot of people who don't have university degrees but have a trade skill, are making a hell of a lot more money and a lot more independence than people with, a master's degree and God knows what. John, have you had a plumber come to your house lately?
It's been a couple of years.
We had, this is 3 or 4 months ago. I think I reported this.
Yep.
We had a plugged kitchen sink. We had a guy come in and he had this big long snake.
Mm-hmm.
It was $800. $800. He was here about an hour with this thing to clear out the sink. I mean, holy suffering doodle. Anyway, I just throw that out, folks. I just throw that out. You've got some more comments there, please.
I agree, by the way, on the whole, trades thing right now. I think that is, if you're a young person and you're really looking at your future, get into the trades. Get into the trades.
Oh, you know what? And not only that, like if you're a carpenter, now I couldn't do carpentry, but at one point I was a pretty good welder. But, it seems to me that in many of these occupations, there's some real satisfaction. You can see you can see what you have done. You can drive by the house that you helped to build or the lawn that you cut or whatever it is. Whereas, I mean, compare that with a job pushing paper someplace day after day after day. I mean, the guy that's pushing the paper, he or she's got the master's degree. The guy that's the carpenter, he's probably making 3 times as much. Not only that, but a lot of the trades, what's happening with the tradespeople, and I have a local lad, they start their own business. You know, if you're a very accomplished plumber or carpenter or electrician, then start your own business and doing very well. Great demand. Yes, John.
If you've ever watched Dirty Jobs, I think it was on Discovery Network,
Yep.
Mike Rowe is the host, and he's got a whole foundation set up in the States now to help people pay for their education to get into the trades because there's a shortage of work, and it pays, like you said. It pays really well. Okay, here we go. Some of the comments. Spider-Man 1942 is on Twitch. He says, Doug Ford is doing his best with his hands tied by Justin Trudeau. Let's all give him a break. Sharon Clark says, I had the same issue. I think she's referring to trying to hire someone. Ian says, Lowell, I know what you're going through. I had 3 different deck companies and 2 different contractors ghost me for some work I need here. Nobody wants my money. Anthony says, probably the insurance is too high for them to paint houses. Well, that's interesting. Hazel
Never thought of that.
Yep.
Never thought of that, yeah.
Here's another one. Hazel says, Serb took care of those workers.
So
Interesting.
the Serb, she's talking about the government money that's going out.
Yep. Why work? I can just get my Serb.
Boy, I hope that's not true. I hope that's not true. But it raises, as I say, it raises the question again. Like, those jobs have got to be done. Somebody has to build the houses.
Yep.
Somebody's got to dig the ditches. Somebody's got to clean out my drain. You know, somebody's got to do that, or the country just stops working. Yes, John, you got some more?
This is the first time this person's posted. Welcome, and I'm going to say your name wrong. I know it. Zuruk, shoveling driveways. Another big money. I mean, yeah. I made a fortune doing that when I was a kid. I love doing that. Ian says, I painted my own house. It's a bit of a pain, but I figured it out. Oh, God, kids don't want to work. Everything is given to them, or they expect everything for nothing. Carolyn says, any service in Canada sucks. Takes forever to get a hold of them. And then the quality, sad, and it always costs.
You know what? Can I just address that for a moment?
Sure.
I agree. I think that there are many companies, and I mean many, that are using the pandemic as an excuse to cut back on service. There are a number of phone calls that I have to make almost on a weekly basis, checking different things, and almost inevitably, I get this recorded voice saying, due to the pandemic, we've had to reduce staff. Wait a minute. And I accused a couple of them of using the pandemic as an excuse to cut back on their staff when they should be actually increasing the staff. But I believe that there are companies out there that are using the pandemic as an excuse. And I just don't think that that's right. Go ahead, John.
Oh,
Sponsor, yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. Where would I be, John, without you? To remind me of my responsibilities here.
Sitting in your living room, still posting on Facebook. Can anybody help me get on the internet?
Oh, by the way, I have to tell you one other. I'll get to that. Tell you, I'm giving you some personal information here. Been to the doctor a couple of times. I gotta have or they recommended that I wear a compression sock. Have you ever had a compression sock?
No, tensor bandage is about as close as I've got, but I've heard about compression socks for sure.
Well, I have one on now. It's a pain in the ass getting on and off. But anyway, actually, it's not a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the leg. But anyway, so I decided, to find out all of there's a whole world of compression socks out there. If you Google compression socks, you'll see just reams and reams of information. There's different compressions and different sizes and different, holy suffering doodle cats. I just want to pull a sock on. And now I got to have, I need a dictionary to figure out what I'm supposed to have here. I just thought I'd pass that on. But if it's not, oh, by the way, did I show you? Did I show you my corn pops? Yes, I did.
Yes,
yesterday.
you did. Yesterday.
How narrow it is. Yeah, but I should have brought in another one to show how much wider the regular one is. This is unbelievable. Anyway. Centennials.
He's got this corn pops in the studio again. Hey,
I never took it out.
If you show that on camera, are you now allowed to deduct your groceries as a business expense?
Centennial glass.
Go ahead.
Look, if it's glass of any kind, major job. If you're building a hotel or a car dealership and you want glass, Centennial Glass is the place to go. After what I've said about the Porsche dealership, I doubt they're going to be dealing with Centennial, but you should. They do great work, very, very reasonable prices, believe me. And they boast of the fact, and listen, when Centennial Glass says something, they mean it. They back it up. They say they have the best warranty in the business. When they warranty their job for whatever length of time, they mean it. Emergency service, glass furniture, custom glass furniture, windows, doors, whatever your project, large or small, Centennial Glass, centennial.ca. Yes, John, back to you.
Listen, the listeners have been quiet. I don't know what it's going to take to get people calling. You're welcome to call anytime, but I know they're listening because we've got a couple of leads on painters for you that I'll pass along to you privately a little later on, Lowell. So
that's great. Thank you all.
There.
Thank you. We will be back.
Lowell Green, live on blasttheradio.com. Show info and links at blasttheradio.com/Lowell Green. Can't join us live? Subscribe to the Lowell Green podcast. Available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and more. Or ask your smart speaker to play the Lowell Green podcast. Join us live weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on blasttheradio.com.